Hi there, and this is the secret to attracting clients without sleazy, salesy selling. Now, how many of you have been in situations like salesy situations where it's kind of like that interaction is just like, ugh, it's horrible, isn't it? It's like this kind of, the world thinks that selling is a certain thing, and it's like the interaction is so vile that you're never going to buy anything or invest in anything. And I've been in situations, and maybe you have too, where I've been sold on the conversation over the phone or in a Zoom, and you're so like, it's almost like, it's not even like a conscious thought, but it's like every part of you wants to get out of that conversation, and like there's no way you're gonna buy anything. Now, I remember actually at one time actually when this guy, he approached me, and I'm always interested to see what people, what they're doing and how we could collaborate, or whether I want to invest in their stuff. And this guy approached me, and he set up a Zoom call, right? And I kind of feel like on a one-on-one Zoom call, it's like you should have your video on, otherwise you just set up a phone call, right? Anyway, he set up this Zoom call, and I got on the Zoom and had my video on, and he had approached me. He was wanting to pursue me for the sale, and he didn't have his video on. And so we had this, like, before he even started talking, it was awkward. In fact, I think I said to him, like, are you going to put your video on? He was like, no, I don't have video. I'm like, kind of like, So I'm kind of sitting there feeling like, this is a bit awkward anyway. And then he went through this conversation, and he wanted me to invest in a $5,000 package. I didn't even know him. I didn't know him. He didn't put his camera on. We had no connection. He made me feel awkward, and I hated it. And it's something about energy that was good. There's just no way I was going to buy anything, right? And in fact, on the other side of things, and maybe you have been in these situations too, where you are the person that's wanting other people to invest in your services, and you're feeling kind of awkward. And I remember I had a business a few years ago where I helped people get promoted, and I had a really, really straightforward client attraction system back then. I'd like connect with people, chat with people, get them on the call, talk about what their challenges were, and see whether we could do business. And I'd get on the call, and I'd like doing the call absolutely fine, but like in the back of my mind, I was like, you're going to get to the sale, and it's like the sale, the monkey sale, is sitting on your shoulder, and at some point you got to ask them to do business with you. And you're feeling like, I was feeling like, I don't know, there's sort of like this sort of sick feeling in my stomach, and had that monkey on my shoulder that I had to get to a point in the conversation. I'd be like, right, do you want to invest in da 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 da? And it felt quite awkward for me. And I've got a lot of like skills, tools that can change my state, but I still felt really awkward. And maybe you felt that too. So what is the pro move when it comes to secrets of attracting clients without this sleazy, salesy interaction? So the first thing, and the main thing that goes above everything else, no matter who you are, what you do, what you say in these situations, is that sales is a transference of energy. Sales is a transference of energy. So what you're feeling and what's going on inside of you is what you are projecting. So when you're feeling like awkward or salesy or sleazy, or it doesn't matter who you are and what you do, or even what you've got to offer, you're not going to persuade anyone to do anything. So the question is, what do you do instead? How do you get out of this kind of salesy negative energy? Blah? Well, it's kind of obvious and it's simple, but it isn't necessarily easy, but it is simple, and it's about shifting your energy before you go into that conversation. And you might have seen those Amy Cuddy, the Amy Cuddy TED Talk, when she's like, raise your hand, put your hands on your, all of that stuff works. And really taking the right headspace into those calls will help with the energy that you take in. So you've got to be like on it and enthusiastic and all of those things. But also there's a mindset about the sale and what you need from that conversation. Let me explain. So I think one of the biggest things about selling, or the mindset shifts about selling, is you have to have the mindset that you don't need that sale. You don't need that sale. You might need sales, but you don't need that one. So you can lean out. You can lean out and like, this could be you, or it might not be for you, but whatever, it's cool. I'm kind of cool. Because you know what happens when people are like, you feel like they're desperate for the sale. And there's something about our psychology where as soon as someone is desperate for a sale, we're kind of like, oh, that puts us off too. So if they're salesy, that puts us off. If they're like desperate for the sale, we're like, oh no, you're way too desperate for this. And we don't buy. So energy going into those interactions is lean out. I might need sales, but I don't need this sale. You've got to love what you are selling. What are you offering? You've got to love your offer. And I talk about it in another video, where the first person you've got to sell to your offer to is yourself, so that you have the right energy. Like, this offer is awesome. This offer is awesome. I know it's going to give so much value to whoever invests in it, but it may or may not be the right thing for you, and that's okay. So having the right energy, having the right mindset, and then asking the right questions, right? Asking the right questions and finding out what are their biggest challenges, and then how you match what you've got to what is their biggest challenge, because that is what they're going to take action on. And it's kind of like following we have a framework we use. It's called the $1 Million Framework. And it's a sequence of questions so that you can really understand and listen to what that person wants, and then see whether it is right to do business together. So most people feel slimy because they're not being authentic, and it feels like they're selling or they're being sold to. But actually being able to go into those interactions with really like amazing energy, love, value, knowing that you can get people results, it just doesn't feel like selling. And knowing that you don't need that sale, it doesn't feel like selling in any way. And you can just make the invitation and have the right conversation, and all is good in the world. So sales is a transference of energy. So feel good, persuade yourself that your offer is amazing, and then go out and attract the clients